Right. So today we're diving into email automation.
Okay.
Not the most riveting topic at first glance, right? But UDT, this LinkedIn article, Build Your Bottom Line, the secret weapon UK construction firms are overlooking by Owen Hager. It argues this stuff is huge GE, especially for UK construction. I kind of got sucked in, actually. So let's break it down.
Yeah, it really flips the script on how we think about email automation, doesn't it? It's not about being impersonal. It's about using it to nurture those relationships that are so vital in construction.
And they kept saying B2B. Why is that
Right.
so important, especially here in the UK?
Well, because construction in the UK, it's a very B2B world. You're dealing with other businesses constantly, suppliers, subcontractors. Building those strong relationships, it's essential. And to do that, you need consistent communication, which is where the email automation comes in.
So it's less about like selling a product and more about building that trust over time.
Exactly. Showing your value goes beyond just, the building itself. It's about being a reliable partner, someone invested in the client's success.
They had 5 specific ways that firms can use this stuff. Welcome emails, celebrating milestones, all sorts. Anything in there that really jumped out at you?
Well, the one that I thought was really interesting, and I think it's so spot on, is the focus on following up after a project's done.
So not just like a quick thanks, bye, then.
No, not at all. They were saying how important it is to check in a few weeks, even months later, see how things are going, ask if they have questions. Keeps you top of mind, In a competitive market like we have, that follow-through, it's huge.
It's that personal touch. Speaking of which, they had some great tips on what to actually say in these emails, like mentioning details from past interactions, a client's industry, a past project, makes it way less robotic.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it's automated, that personalization, it's key. Make the client feel seen, like you're really paying attention. It's all about that relationship, not just ticking a box.
It's like when you're at one of those networking things and someone actually remembers your name, makes you feel good. Now, one thing I know I'm guilty of is email overload. How do we find that balance between staying visible and not being, annoying? So how do we avoid becoming that person, the one who sends way too many emails? Any tips on finding that sweet spot?
It is a balance, isn't it? You want to stay top of mind, but not be overwhelming. The article, it really emphasized quality over quantity. Don't just flood their inbox. Send them stuff they actually want to open.
Okay, less is more. But how do we even know what works? I mean, what if we're just sending emails into the void?
That's where tracking comes in. Open rates, click-through rates. Those metrics tell you a lot. Like if people aren't opening your emails, maybe it's time to switch things up a bit.
So we have to pay attention to that data, not be afraid to adjust.
Exactly. Even get a little, scientific with it. They mentioned A/B testing.
Oh, yeah, from back in my marketing days. Just remind me what that is again in this context.
Basically, you compare 2 versions of something. So like 2 different subject lines for an email, see which gets more opens, or different send times. It helps you really fine-tune your approach, make sure you're getting the most out of it.
Love that. It's like getting a sneak peek into what actually works on people. Speaking of getting practical, they also talked about choosing the right tools for this stuff. Even named a few popular ones, which was handy. What was the gist on that front?
The biggest thing was integration, making sure the software works with your existing systems. You don't want to be stuck manually moving data between platforms. What a nightmare.
Oh, tell me about it. I can only imagine.
And of course, budget is always a factor. The good news is there are tools at every price point. It's about finding what works for you, the size of your company, all that.
So we've got the strategy, we've got the tactics, even the tech side of things. It sounds like email automation is not just some trendy thing. It's about working smarter, building those relationships.
Absolutely. Using tech to make those personal connections even stronger. And in an industry like construction, that is everything.
Very well said. Now, this might be obvious, but does this mean every construction firm needs to be rushing to set this up tomorrow? Or is there more to it than that? It's not like a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Definitely not. It's powerful, but it's not magic. You got to be smart about it, be consistent. And this might be the most important part. You have to reach the right people.
What do you mean right people? Everyone in construction needs email, don't they?
It's about your email list. It's not just how many addresses you have. It's how engaged those people are. Do they actually want to hear from you? A good email list, it's about trust, not just a bunch of random names.
Makes sense. Quality over quantity, like we were saying.
Right.
So say a construction firm is listening. They're thinking, okay, I'm sold. What's your number one tip to get started?
Don't try to do too much at once. Pick one thing, one specific goal. Maybe it's that post-project follow-up we talked about, or sharing some really useful content, showing you're an expert. Start small, get it right, then you can build from there.
That's such good advice, because it's easy to get overwhelmed, right? Now, we've been all about email today, but it gets me thinking, what other parts of a construction business could use some automation magic?
Oh, that's a great question. And you're right, it's not just about email. Think about all those little tasks that eat up your time. Scheduling, quotes, even those project updates, so much of that can be automated these days.
Dang, which frees you up to focus on the important stuff, building those relationships, the strategic thinking.
Exactly. Working smarter, not harder, right? That's how you build a business that's more efficient, more profitable, more, I don't know, more enjoyable even.
And that's what I like to hear. Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive into email automation for the UK construction industry. I feel like I've learned a ton today.
I'm glad to hear it. Like they say, knowledge is power. And now you've got the knowledge to make this work for you, for your business.
And maybe we'll even see some more UK construction firms using this to win more work, build those relationships.
I love to see that. Imagine every project starts with a nice personalized welcome email. Sets the tone for a great partnership.
No, that's a future I can get behind. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into email automation. And until next time, keep building those relationships, automate like a pro, and watch your business grow.